Okay, we are live, I think. Yes, we are live. Uh, I know, हमने बोला था we'll be live online at 4 p.m. It's 4:07. We had to deal with some demons and spirits. So we took our time to come to you people. First of all, welcome everyone to WENCH Film Festival. And the last 2 to 3 days were the screenings for the festival. It went amazing as per what I have heard. And जो मैंने updates देखे हैं that were put up by the team, it was amazing. And it's, I think, one of the best film festivals for indie filmmakers, especially indie female filmmakers, because that's what Sapna is trying to do, and she is doing it super amazingly. But this very panel right now, as you can see, three of us, we will just introduce ourselves very briefly, since I have begun talking anyway. Hi, this is SARBAJEET MOHANTY. I am one of the founders of the Parapsychology and Investigation Research Society India, which is India's only registered parapsychology society. And I am a certified paranormal investigator. I'm a demonologist, and sometimes I also write. So this is about me. With me, I have two more amazing people. One here is sitting right next to me. She is Pooja. Pooja is also one of the founders of PAIRS, or Parapsychology and Investigation Research Society. She's a psychic. She's a Reiki grandmaster. She's a past life regression therapist. She's a metaphysician. The list is long, but yeah, she is many things in one mind and one soul. And this is Pooja with me here.
Hi everyone.
And on the other side of the screen, I have one of the best exorcists and psychics of the country, Savio Furtado. Savio Furtado is again one of the senior members of PAIRS, and he has been with us and dealing demons and exorcising them and helping out the souls and spirits and the human beings for the last 30 years, if I'm not wrong. नहीं आप ज्यादा बूढ़े तो नहीं
चलेगा, उम्र बढ़ जाती है और क्या है.
But yeah, so we are part of the ScareCon team. As you can see on your screen, this is an official collaboration between WENCH Film Festival and ScareCon India. ScareCon is Asia's biggest paranormal convention, happening in Mumbai every year during Halloween. We can't thank Sapna enough for this collaboration, for this opportunity. Yeah. And maybe we should just dive in, because it's film festival and everything is about films and movies and all those stuff. Very basic sa simple sa sawal to both of you, and maybe we can start alphabetically P and S. What, or which is that one Indian movie in your opinion depicted the paranormal closest to reality?
Well, I think I can go with Chori.
Chori, okay.
Because the reason being that I am asked this question many times कि आपको भूत से डर नहीं लगता? Aren't you scared of ghosts? And I've been telling this from a long time कि भूतों से डर नहीं लगता, इंसानों से लगता है. That I'm not scared of ghosts, but so, and I think this is the movie is in the similar lines, and it's a beautifully made movie, and I think I loved everything about the movie. So yeah, I think I'll go with Chori.
Savio, yeah.
Well, I don't have any favorite as such, but then after, if you go to see the closest to reality, again I would say Lapa Chapi. That's the original of Chori again. Yeah, because I mean, और दूसरे favorite movies है, well made movies है, but then उसके अंदर reality से थोड़ा connect lose होता है, और the problem is that they depend more on jump scares and all the other techniques to scare people. Horror movies are not supposed to scare people. Yeah, they should get them more in touch with reality. Is just another genre. I mean, I think that is exactly what people should harp on and believe on right now. It's just another genre, and it's just depicting reality in art, which that is what art is all about. I mean, imitation of real life. So Lapa Chapi depicted, I mean, was the closest to reality when it comes to movies.
Correct. But then, because I mentioned the topic, I mentioned the word Indian horror movies. If I change the word to Hollywood or non-Indian horror movies, what would be your answer?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that clearly.
Yeah, I told I asked.
No.
That...
Your voice is garbled. Your voice is garbled. I can't hear you. There's something
Is it clear?
wrong.
Is it fine now? Is it working fine?
No, no, no. Is it fine? It's coming as if it's a robotic voice. I mean, I don't know. It suddenly happened like that. Um, okay, but something wrong. Wait a minute. Let me just check this.
Okay, I once he figures that out, I'll come to you with that. That के हमने मैंने Indian बोला, so you took Chori's name, but I have seen it and we have seen it. When it comes to Hollywood, I think the list will be long.
Yeah,
it won't be just restricted to one name. So what will be those, or at least one name from Hollywood that depicted well?
One of my personal favorites, I think I'll go with that, and that's The Sixth Sense.
Yeah,
I somehow love that movie because I mean it has they have beautifully shown right from the emotions to how a psychic feels and how they see the other side, and it's a beautifully made movie. The Sixth Sense, Savio's back. So
yeah. It's audible now, right?
Very, very clear, crystal.
The spirits trying to interfere,
All
but yeah, I was just asking कि क्योंकि मैंने Indian बोला तो the names were restricted to just one or two. I'm sure कि आपके दिमाग में भी there must be 2 to 3 names, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा. But when I changed the entire thing to Hollywood or non-Indian, I think there will be a list of horror movies which have depicted paranormal in an amazing way. What will be that one horror movie that is your favorite in Hollywood?
In the olden times, The Omen, the first one. Yeah,
Correct.
because over there, the horror was depicted in a very realistic term. There was no scary face. There were only ravens flying around, and that boy, and still that boy was able to, instill horror or fear in everybody. The way he acted like that, he was like the son of the devil incarnate or something like that, and he could evoke horror very easily. That was one of the movies that I liked in the olden times. And then in the recent times, as we go to see the Enfield case, Conjuring.
And case, Conjuring 2. Correct.
How about you?
Me, the Amityville horror actually. The Amityville horror and the Rand and Alt wala and Reynolds wala, and then obviously the Conjuring one. The Amityville horror for all the obvious reasons, because it just shows how a very healthy family man can just turn into a monster if the influence is bad around him, and not just the influence from human beings but the influence of the spirits or the demons that are haunting that place. But yeah, that was why it was really a good one. And then the Conjuring one, obviously, because Conjuring just brought in two amazing characters that we had hardly seen before, and they were called paranormal investigators, they were called demonologists and psychics. Psychic was very commonly used before, in the Sixth Sense ho gaya, baki movies, psychic thing has been used over and over. But demonologists or paranormal investigators, even exorcists, in the 1983 Exorcist movie, the term or the word exorcist has been used so many times, and later on as well. But paranormal investigation kaise hota hai, they were using those gadgets, they were trying to capture evidence if the place is haunted or not before concluding, they were giving seminars, they were trying to make or create awareness about the topic. A lot of things that we actually do, so when Conjuring came in, that just became my instant favorite.
True, it is exactly what we do. I mean, that's the reason we could relate with those movies. Actually,
Yeah,
Right.
it was the closest to reality. Yeah.
But then it जब भी कोई movie निकलती है, of course we'll come to the real experiences as well, but because we are already in the flow of movies, there are few questions people generally ask, and which I want to hear from both of people, and of course I'll be adding into, why do you think, जैसे कि अभी for example, अभी जैसे रिसेंटली जितने भी अभी हॉरर मूवीज इंडिया में भी बने हैं, और द वंस हु आर, फॉर एग्जांपल इंसिडियस. Now Insidious is a very good horror movie. It's a very the initial parts are very good and everything, but the things that were happening, they cannot happen in the paranormal world as of now. Like in our experience, and I'm sure even you can vouch for it. We can vouch for it. For example, there's a scene in Insidious, the latest part, where the demonic entity is putting a key-like thing inside one of the victim's throat to unlock or lock her in a demonic world, lock her soul a demonic world. Which we know there are other methods to possess a person, but definitely not using a key that just enters a person and sab kuch. Why do you think the filmmakers, and of course I'm pretty sure there is a very good reason to it, but why do you think that the reality jo actually hoti hai, people are, they don't want to show that, they don't want to put in, because we three and people like us, we see the ground reality of paranormal. We see how things go, and of course चीजें हुई हैं हमारे साथ which cannot be explained, and they are traumatic. Few of them are really traumatic, which we will not be shying to let you know. But then why do you think filmmakers are not using those traumas, but instead they are adding those other masalas to the movies? Do you think it is because masala is needed in a horror movie, or do you think the reality is often disappointing? There must be either of the two. It can't be both of them or something else. What do you think?
I don't know. I think masala works. A lot of people, a lot of movie makers are apprehensive on portraying the reality. We know when we go on our paranormal investigations, kya hota hai. Like
Yeah.
sometimes our camera conks off, sometimes our footages go missing, and all
Yeah.
these things. I think there is enough of material in that to make a movie upon.
Yeah.
I guess if there is a production team live along with us on site, when we investigate, I think there is enough that happens around over there to make a movie. However, I think the audiences has gotten used to, at least the Indian audiences have gotten used to the the khandars and the basements and the attics. They see horror only in those things, and
Yeah. So it's
I think
more
I've
of conditioning
yeah,
of
it is,
how
it is,
conditioning.
and all of the I think all of or almost all of the horror movies are always based on possessions. They aren't actually based
Right.
on haunting.
Correct.
There is
True.
there is more to parapsychology and paranormal and horror than only possessions.
Yeah.
खास करके हर मूवी में या तो you show a doll or a person getting possessed. So horror in India means possession. तो वो ड्रामा तो दिखाना ही है. What about hauntings? I mean, there is a certain place which is haunting and which is evoking that horror. कोई वहां पर गया तो gets lost or something. I think that topic has to be explored yet by filmmakers. And once it, I think Dhanil Mehta tried his best in one of those movies where he showed that
Final
yeah,
exit.
the final exit, the place, the purgatory between the living and the dead. But then
Yeah.
till now, I think people are still shying away from this topic because they don't know how to treat the topic yet.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
And even I think the openness of the audience,
True.
because they are looking for a particular, a particular type, and whether it will work for them or no. So probably, the things combined is stopping them from stepping into or trying something on
हाँ,
this side.
सफेद साड़ी, बड़े नाखून, खून, उल्टे पैर दिखाना बहुत आसान होता है. But how do you show a place haunted or place possessed?
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct. And I think that's what again Vishal sir did in in his recent movie. I think in Bali he did that.
But
So of
yeah,
course there is the involvement of an entity which comes in front in the very first half of the movie. But right before that, right before things, the entity comes in front of the people, the audience, there are activities that are happening. There are things happening on the phone. There are whispers that are happening. There are other activities. There's mind controlling. There is dreams and everything that are happening, which are part of hauntings. So it is these hauntings that leads a person to get into something like possession. It just, the possession is not the very first step of possession. It doesn't happen. Okay, there's a demon or a spirit that is directly attacking or attaching itself to a person. There are steps to it, and if you have watched The Conjuring, you already know, but they have shown only 3 steps, but there are more than 3 steps, which you can learn if you really are interested. But coming to our field, coming to the field of paranormal and reality, how much truth is there to the things that we see in movies?
Um, I shouldn't be landing in trouble for saying that.
सपना बोलेगी मेरे फिल्म फेस्टिवल में आके.
No, definitely, like, the movie makers have to make based on what the audience wants, but reality is very different, I would say. So,
Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
people don't know the difference between spirit detachment and possession. अभी भी वही दोनों चीजें काफी कंफ्यूज हो रही हैं, but I think the gap is getting bridged now. Modern filmmakers are delving into showing at least a tinge of reality, if not the
Yeah.
entire thing. I've watched
Yes.
some short films also, or in shorts and all, and these stories don't get the exposure that the big movies get. And short films actually show reality much in a much more grounded manner, fashion.
Yeah.
But then
Commercial success.
no, but then that also brings this question, kid, is it really important to show the reality?
Definitely not, because when we are dealing with something that's fiction, then
But I think if I may, Savio bhaiya, I'll add this thing. When it comes to horror, not the human horror, but the paranormal horror, I think that is where reality is important. Why? Because people believe in it. Sometimes people connect to a movie to a very personal level that just affects them in a very positive way or in a very negative way. For example, when Dawn 2 released, featuring Shah Rukh Khan, he had this tattoo right here, D. I have seen thousands of people just having a D tattoo here because they resonated with the tattoo so much, or the work that it did, even though it was a very anti-hero kind of a role that he played in, but still people connected to it. And most of the cases, most of the traumatic experiences that we resolve or help out in are coming in from the experiences they have got from watching those movies. उनको लगा कि मूवीज में ऐसा होता है, तो उन लोगों ने उसको सच मान लिया, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट ट्रुथ इन देयर माइंड इट इज अफेक्टेड देम. So I think when it comes to human horror, fiction is the best thing, and that's how it should be, because कहीं ना कहीं जाके humans are also limited to certain things, but in horror we can explore or exploit that limitation. But when it comes to paranormal horror, I think reality is also important, even though it's not compulsory. But sometimes a reality check just helps people to calm down. कि अच्छा ठीक है, असली में ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. So I'm safe when I'm sleeping alone in this 3 BHK house. There is no boogeyman under my bed. There is no one sitting on the chair at 3 a.m. looking at me while I'm asleep. So I think that is where reality is needed. What do you think, Savia?
I have mixed, responses to this. First is it depends on what the artist wants to show, the director or the movie maker or the storyteller.
Under the discussion,
Story uski hai. The lines get murkier or blurred out when at the start of the movie, abhi sub movies abhi karne chalu kiye कि based on true events or inspired by true events. Right. When that happens, you automatically cloud the viewer's judgments and tell them ये हुआ है. And the moment you say ये हुआ है, जैसे कि वो movie हुई स्त्री, and it was based on Naleba. That was a urban folklore from where? Bangalore or somewhere. Yeah. So it was based from there. And the moment you show that it's based on a true story, then they have to stick to reality. Yes, a little bit of poetic licenses or creative licenses, as we call, can be granted. However, you cannot just flit and float away from the reality and show whatever you want to. Like for example, in the exorcism of Emily Rose, which was based on Annalise Mitchell, they showed the character flying in the air, which didn't really happen, and it was just a still photo in the evidence. And that case is still very open to interpretation. But yet the director took a lot of creative licenses and depicted close to something that was very hard to believe. But only because it was based on a true story, people really started believing in those still photographs and started seeing that that could be reality. So it depends on what the storyteller wants to say, but the moment they say that it is based on a true story, they better stick to the truth. वरना क्या होता है, हम जैसे लोगों के लिए डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है when we want to portray the truth through our paranormal experiences. They start feeling that, you know what, this is fiction.
Correct, correct,
Right.
correct. And also, I think, I don't know ये क्या है, just my opinion and what I have decoded, what the filmmakers are trying to do by showing fictional things, at least, for us, what we think is fictional, is जैसे कि if you remember in this Mathiran wala investigation that we did a couple of months back, there's this place that we are investigating, and you all felt there's this witchy, bad witchy kind of evil entity that is haunting that place, and it is just asking us to come inside so that it can harm us. And at that place, you both are very sure that it's very negative, it's very evil out there. But I had this theory that what if the entity became evil because of what happened to her when she was alive? So the things that she went through when she was a human being made her evil. No soul. I mean, of course, there are few ones which are just born evil. The entities I'm talking about, not the human beings, but certain ones, and I think most of the ones, even I remember this case investigating in Bhubaneswar, the things that entity did by trying to harm us was incredible. It was not scary, it was incredible, because we had never seen something so similar, like rocks as big as, there must be 100 to 200 kilos just getting thrown towards us. One of our crew member getting 5 fingerprints on his ankle. They were incredible, the evidence that we captured for the paranormal. But the moment we made her realize,
and what
sorry.
happened to Shiva, in our recent 2 investigations.
Correct. And then a recent ये तो मतलब last month की बात है technically. So these things, I think, what the horror filmmakers, in terms of paranormal, what they're trying to show is what the mind goes through when these things are happening. Like reality is very, very different than what a person goes through in his mind. I might be seeing this. So, for example, you psychic, you both see things which I can't, which normal human beings can't. Sometimes you see certain things which are very nasty, which are very evil, which you can't explain. आप कोशिश भी नहीं कर सकते हो to explain, because when you go on to explain, it's like very hard to imagine कि यार ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है. Even the incidents that have happened to the spirits, murder हुआ या फिर उसको choke किया गया, or it was strangled, something bad जो भी हुआ था उनके साथ, it's very difficult to convey the message, and I think through fictions it is easily depictable.
Yes.
जो कि reality में आप समझा ही नहीं पाओगे ना. Like मैं बताऊं, then मैं दिखाऊं, there is a difference to it. I think that's what I think this dilemma will continue forever.
I think
the
best thing will be get the knowledge about the real paranormal, so that you don't merge the two. Correct. And you can enjoy the horror film, because you will know, okay, that that this is what it's just entertainment. So let's not merge in the sense that enjoy this as entertainment and at the same time gain knowledge about the paranormal, so that you can know and enjoy it accordingly. Correct.
Hybrid horror.
Yeah, correct. Hybrid horror. That's one word I actually. So now that we are anyway talking about the two of you, the psychics basically. So just in a very brief way, can you just both of you let the world know what are your psychic abilities and what are your psychic abilities? We can start with you.
Okay, so I'm more of a clairsentient and a claircognizant. So this is like I can sense things around me, as in I can sense entities, I can sense emotions, and I can sense energies which others can't. And claircognizance is like I just know where, I just know things. I don't know how I know it.
Downloads.
But yeah, they are like downloads from the universal consciousness, but I just know when something exists, or if there's an entity around, or anything, like I am a bit resonant with clairvoyance, but not always. Sometimes I see things, but it's not all the time. But it's more of these two that I am resonant with. I did have premonitions earlier, and those have kind of faded, but it's more of this now. Yeah.
Yeah, Savio.
Well, to say first of all, to put my finger and say that I am this or this would be a disservice, because these are bouts of abilities that hit you when and where required. कि
Exactly.
जहाँ पर देखना होता है वहां पर आप प्लेयर ऑडियंट बन के कोई फायदा नहीं है, आपको कोई म्यूजिक नहीं सुनाई देगी. So time and again, when we are there in the cool of the night, where there is nothing to see and you hear a sound which is not supposed to be there, you're a clairaudient at that point of time. That is exactly what I believe I am.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Clairaudient, clairsentient, claircognizant because we recognize, and also clairvoyant because I
Wow.
see a lot everywhere. Psychic abilities also, mera psychic ability is also grounded in reading objects and locations wherein I mean, that wherein I go and I place my hands over trees and rocks around, and I try to gather as much as data as possible from them. Uh, Premonition, not much, but yes, I delve into a sort of a prophecy. When I see a person, I see the past and I also can see the future of the person to a certain extent, depending on what choices in life that person makes. Talking about clear cognizance and clear sentience, yes, I can sense whether the spirit in a person or the intention of a person is good or bad. And no matter how much, I mean, Pooja will agree to this. It's very difficult to lie to a psychic.
Oh yes, definitely.
आप कितना भी कन्विंस करो हमें कि ये मुझे खरीदना ही है या यही मेरे लिए बना हुआ है, आप कितना भी कन्विंस करो, वी नो कहीं ना कुछ तो गड़बड़ है.
Yeah.
But then अभी दूसरा क्वेश्चन मेरा ये है कि you have seen us, we have seen us whenever we go out to investigate. It's 4 male investigators or 3 male investigators, and there is 1 female जो कि हमेशा हमारे साथ रहती है. And I think, in my knowledge, I'm sorry if I don't know you, but as of now, I know there are only 2 female paranormal investigators in the whole damn country. There's Pooja Vijay and there is Meghna Porwal from Indian Paranormal Society. These are the only 2 female paranormal investigators in the country, whereas so many male out there. I don't have a problem with male. What I am talking about is why aren't there more female investigators? Because sometimes what female investigators do by staying or being at a situation is like the way they can connect to spirits. I don't think मतलब हम लोग भी शायद कभी शायद connect नहीं कर पाएंगे, because there is certain I don't know why there are so many less or so many क्या मतलब only the 2 of you, and why there are no ज़्यादा क्यों नहीं add on हो रहे हैं to this list. I am
I'd,
very
I
concerned about it actually.
I'd like to answer this in a brief thing. Patriarchy, first of all,
exactly what
because
I was.
it
Exactly
is
what I was. Yeah.
because देखो pairs को देखो.
Yeah.
Pooja is a co-founder. You look at IPS and you look at Meghna and the freedom that she has given and the power. When we've been with Meghna and she has told us that sometimes she leads the investigations and she takes pride in that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And the other men around her don't mind it when she takes the lead.
Yeah.
But you and I know what team we are talking about, जहां पर एक बंदा बाकी सबको कंट्रोल करता है और ऐसे झाड़ता है कि the other ladies should not speak over him. We know,
That's
right? So unless that notion breaks, I think women make better, if not equal to, paranormal investigators and psychics than men. That is mera manna. And I'll tell you why. Because it is not what is physically appearing. The physical appearance really doesn't matter. It is about your feminine energy or the masculine energy inside you. You may look like a man, but you may possess a feminine energy or feminine trait inside you. Or you might look like a lady, but you might possess a female or a male, I'm sorry, a male energy, a masculine energy inside you. It depends on how we're able to balance both of this and bring both the energies together in conjunction to solve a particular case. The
correct.
problem with most people in India is they see men to be superior than women. As we say, the wizards are looked up to, whereas the witches are looked down upon.
Savio,
And
I
that,
really want to add to that. I really
yeah,
want to add to that. Like, it's like it's actually sometimes annoying because when you talk about wizards, it's like, maybe
Geniuses.
Harry Potter or Doctor Strange opening portals and going through dimensions. It's, it's like something wow, something to look forward to. But when you talk about witches, it's still, I get people who tell me that, the first, when I ask them what's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say the word witch, they still tell me that, an ugly female with her long nose and a pointy hat with a black robe riding on a broom. And I'm like, wow, exactly, long nails. And that is something that needs to change in this country, because I mean, I'm just using this platform to let people know that witches were actually healers. They were healers. They were somebody who could harness cosmic and universal energies and create magic and heal people. Like, for example, you have these cosmic witches who used to those who were into horoscopes and astrology, then lunar witches who used to harness the moon energy to create magic and to help people heal. And there are so many categories.
And sorry, I'll let you continue, but I really want to add this up. We really wanted a witch on this panel.
Exactly.
And so much so that a link to what you people just shared, what Savio just shared, what you are sharing, the notions of patriarchy and everything that is involved. We found witches, in India. We found them and we requested them to be a part of the panel, but none of them is ready to come in front of the camera and say
Yeah.
openly that yes, I am a damn witch.
There's still so much judgment. There is still so much judgment, and still people are not aware. It's like abhi bhi usko pura negative way mein dala hua hai. People really need to know about the white witches and what witches really were.
Yeah.
And as you very rightly said, Savio, even back then when witches were burnt alive or maybe just thrown down the hill or beheaded, it was because people were and they did not want the feminine energy to be powerful and to rise, and that is why they were taken down. And there was another category where they didn't just understand what was happening.
Yeah.
They just didn't know that something like this they could do, and they thought that, oh, this is something dark, and they'll harm humans. And so that's what I mean. This is something that really needs to change.
Yeah, and I think if you are a female and you want to join us, be actually a paranormal investigator or a psychic, or if you're a psychic and you want to be a part of our team, or if you want to learn exorcism and be an exorcist in our team, just know that Pairs is open for you. Our team is looking for people like you who are ready to assist us in our mission. And we'd be more than happy to have you, more than happy to guide you, learn, help you learn things and get a good grab of the paranormal world, because it needs you,
And if you're a psychic, then definitely you won't be judged and
Yeah.
you won't be mocked, because most of the psychics have to go through that. Arey, tere man ka vaham
Yeah.
hai,
Yeah.
So you have people who are going to believe you.
Yeah, correct. One last question before we bring in one such personality who has went through some real paranormal experiences, and she is ready to share her experiences with everyone of you who is watching right now. But one last question: India has anti-witchcraft law. I don't know how many of you are aware of it, but India has anti-witchcraft law. Anti-witchcraft law says that so basically it's a law that tries to protect women from any kind of mistreatment in the name of witchcraft, in the name of doing black magic or something similar on those lines. Why? Because I don't know how much you are aware, but the eastern part of the country, Jharkhand, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, Assam, you name it, and females and women are killed every single day. They are being a witch, of being of possessing some supernatural qualities, supernatural powers, and people are very open about it. Their husbands do that heinous crime, their family members do that heinous crime. They put them into a trap and they kill them, and they go to the police station saying, we did a very great thing by trying to save our village, and we beheaded our wife, our daughter-in-law, or even mother-in-law, even mothers. Mothers are getting killed by their kids. But don't you think, even though paranormal investigation is not governmental recognized, not recognized by the government of India, but don't you think it should recognize both of us, so that both of us can work together and try to create an awareness, spread a message but things like these are committed less. Maybe government can ask paranormal investigators, to work on anti witchcraft law, spread this message, spread the right knowledge. कैसा होता है, कैसा नहीं होता है. Don't you think we'll be saving so many families from this devastating thing that happens?
So many innocent lives, actually. So many, yes.
What do you think, Savia?
Yeah, I think there should be a collaboration between the government. There should be a regulation, definitely. There should be a regulation. And we should always dwell upon the scientific aspects of paranormal investigation and witchcraft for that matter. Because we know for a fact that witchcraft exists. Whether you call it black magic or whether you call it voodoo, whether you call it white magic. We give so much of importance. We are known as a land of temples. And temples are places where white magic is created. You pray for someone and that prayer heals someone. There are so many healings and miracles that take place in temples, and those are white magic arenas. So you have to acknowledge that black magic also does exist. So if at all the government actually initiates and regulates such an atmosphere and environment wherein not everybody is just shadow or blanket banned, but there is encouragement given for the real research, like how we do. We document our cases. We have evidences along with us every time. We document everything that is there. If such and such things are happening, I think the government should take cognizance of this and encourage such organizations.
Correct.
Definitely.
Correct. I think that's it for the questions that I had for both of you. I think it's time we bring in Nikita. Nikita Ghag is a model and she is one of our clients. And she did went through some traumatic experiences at her place. And, I think it would be better she shares everything that she went through. Nikita, आपके साथ जो कुछ भी हुआ, I know आपने multiple times हमारे साथ share किया, but I think you are one such client and friend of ours who is not shy to share things. And I think if you can share the same जो भी आपके साथ हुआ, people will know what are the things they can look out for in their places online.
So I'm audible, right? So मुझे कुछ चीजें सेंस होती थी since I was 15 years old. और तभी शुरुआत में जब मैं अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ, फैमिली मेंबर्स के साथ शेयर करती या फिर फ्रेंड्स के साथ कि मेरे साथ ऐसे कुछ हो रहा है, मुझे कुछ फील हो रहा है, तब पीपल यूज्ड टू थिंक कि नहीं ये तो वहम है. जैसे पूजा ने अभी थोड़ी देर पहले कहा कि लोग यही कहते हैं ये तो वहम है, तुम हॉरर मूवीज बहुत देखती हो ना इसीलिए ये दिमाग में फिट हो गया. तो मैं पूजा और सर्बजीत से मिलने से पहले मेरे साथ 3 बार अलग अलग इंसिडेंट्स हुए थे, पर तभी हर बार ये दबा दिया गया कह के कि ये वहम है. तो ये रिसेंटली मेरे साथ जब हुआ था 2021 के अक्टूबर नवंबर में, when I shifted to a new place and my house is a rented house जहाँ पर मैं रहती हूँ अभी. तो वहाँ पर शिफ्ट होने के बाद 15 days everything was going good. 15 days के बाद जस्ट मैं जब बाहर से शूट से गोवा से आई, तब मैं one fine night I was sleeping, रात को 3 साढ़े 3 के आसपास मुझे मेरे डोर पे नॉक सुनाई दिया. तो आई थॉट कि माय हेल्पर माइट हैव नॉक्ड फॉर समथिंग. पर दूसरे दिन जब मैंने उसे पूछा वो कुछ नहीं था. तो मुझे लगा, क्योंकि बार बार लोगों ने बताया था कि ये तुम्हारे मन का वहम है, तो मुझे लगा कि हाँ ये वहम ही है कुछ. तो सेकेंड डे सेम थिंग हैपेंड और उसके साथ साथ एक पंजेंट स्मेल आने लग गया था, एक मतलब अजीब सा गंदा सा स्मेल. तब भी घर पे मुझे बताया गया कि नहीं, बिकॉज देयर इज अ ड्रेनेज सिस्टम नियर बाय, तो वहां का कुछ रहेगा, यहाँ पे सुबह सुबह आता होगा. वैसे थर्ड डे थिंग्स ज्यादा बढ़ गए, मतलब मुझे जो एक्सपीरियंस हो रहा था वो उसका इंटेंसिटी काफी बढ़ गया. एंड देन मैंने पूजा को, मुझे आई वॉज नॉट नोइंग पूजा एंड सर्बजीत, मुझे साइकिक हीलर्स, साइकिक्स, इवन एक्सॉर्सिस्ट ये क्या होते हैं पता नहीं था, बस वो मूवीज में देखा था और वही मन में फिट था. तो मैंने लिटरली गूगल पर सर्च किया क्योंकि आई वाज स्कैर्ड. 3 दिन से ऐसे हो रहा है, मैं हेल्पर और आई हैव 15 पेट्स एट होम. तो धीरे धीरे मेरे पेट्स जैसे मेरे डॉग्स, कैट्स वो भी रिएक्ट करने लगे. मेरे पेट्स कभी ऐसे मतलब बेवजह बार्किंग ये कभी नहीं होता था, बट अचानक से रात को एक कॉर्नर के पास देख के बार्क करना, मेरी कैट्स पूरे उनके सारे मतलब ओवरऑल मतलब बिहेवियर में डिफरेंस, ये सब दिख रहा था। तो मैंने गूगल पे सर्च किया लिटरली घोस्ट कैचर्स इन मुंबई, क्योंकि मुझे नहीं पता था घोस्ट हंटर्स होते हैं, ऐसे कुछ होता है। तो मैंने लिटरली सर्च किया बिकॉज मुझे वो बाबा और ये सब में नहीं जाना था, बिकॉज आई न्यू कि दैट इज जस्ट अ वे टू लूटोफाई पीपल। तो उतना सेंस था, यस। वो बस जाके वो बॉटल में भरते हैं, ऐसे कुछ बोलते हैं और वो कुछ नहीं होता, पूजा पाठ करवाएंगे, आई डोंट बिलीव इन दैट। तो मैंने घोस्ट कैचर्स ढूंढा और उसमें मुझे पूजा और सर्वजीत का नाम मिला। सैवियो भैया को तो मैं बहुत लेट, मतलब मैंने जब पैरानॉर्मल कन्वेंशन में मैं आई थी तब मैं जानने लगी, बट ये दोनों का नाम मिला। तो लिटरली उनका नाम लेकर मैंने गूगल पे पर्टिकुलरली पूरा सर्च किया, तब पता चला कि उनका क्या डेजिग्नेशन है, पेयर्स के बारे में तब पता चला। और फिर आई कॉल्ड पूजा, आई टोल्ड हर कि सी दीज थिंग्स आर हैपनिंग। और धीरे धीरे ना वो नॉक्स जैसे रात को आते थे और टिपिकल टक टक वाले नॉक्स आते थे, पर धीरे धीरे वो दोपहर में भी आने लग गए। तो मुझे पता चल गया कि वो जैसे फिल्म में दिखाते हैं कि ये चीजें सिर्फ रात को होती है, ऐसे कुछ नहीं होता, ये तो मॉर्निंग में भी होने लग गया था, आफ्टरनून में भी होने लग गया था। फिर पूजा आने में, मतलब मेरा पूजा से कांटेक्ट होने के बाद पूजा मेरे घर पे आने में 2 दिन का टाइम था बीच में, बिकॉज शी हैड अदर अपॉइंटमेंट्स एज वेल। तो वो 2 दिन में चीजें और बढ़ने लग गई। तो मैं लिटरली 24 आवर्स कंटिन्यूस, 48 आवर्स कंटिन्यूस में सो नहीं पा रही थी, क्योंकि तभी वो मन में एक डर था। जब पूजा एंड सर्वजीत विजिटेड माय हाउस, तब उन्होंने कुछ चीजें मतलब फाइंड आउट करी वहां पर कि क्या था। देयर वर 4 एंटिटीज इन माय हाउस, दे वर ट्रैप्ड बाय समवन बिकॉज ऑफ सम कोई रिचुअल या फिर कुछ बोर्ड गेम्स, किसी ने मेरे से पहले जो रहते थे उन्होंने कुछ वहां पर बोर्ड गेम्स का वो खेलकर उन्होंने ट्रैप किया था। तो वो जब सामने सामने मैंने देखा कि इन्होंने घोस्ट ट्यूब ऑन किया था और काफी कुछ चीजें देखी मैंने, तब पता चला कि वो एग्जैक्टली होता कैसे है। एंड देन पूजा एंड सर्वजीत बोथ वर आस्किंग द एंटिटीज फ्यू क्वेश्चंस, जिसके आंसर्स मिलते गए, जिसकी वजह से हमें पता चलते गया कि वो केस क्या था। एंड लास्ट में लिटरली ऐसे गूजबम्स आने वाली चीज हुई, वो मतलब एक वर्ड लिखकर आया ब्लेस्ड, just because these people they help the entities to get out of their place and go back to their world.
Correct.
और मुझे भी एक अच्छा लगा कि हाँ, कि थ्रू मेरे वो सारी चीजें हुई। फिर उसके कुछ दिन बाद भी मुझे वो डर था ना, इसीलिए ऐसे लगता था कि कुछ रहेगा, कुछ क्या हो सकता है। धीरे धीरे पूजा ने मुझे जितना, मतलब मैं पूजा को लिटरली हैट्स ऑफ टू हर, मैं उसको रात को 2-2 3-3 बजे भी कॉल करती थी कि पूजा मुझे डर लग रहा है कि मैं अकेली रहती हूँ। बट देन धीरे धीरे उसने कहा कि जैसे ये इंसिडेंट पुराना होते जाएगा तुम्हारा डर निकलते जाएगा। फिर सर्वजीत ने कहा कि वो खुद आए थे इसमें क्योंकit वो जस्ट टू ओवरकम द फियर। मैंने एक बार उनसे ये सुना था। जस्ट एक मिनट। हाँ, Why is this happening? मेरी स्क्रीन ना ये वर्टिकल रह रही है, हॉरिजॉन्टल नहीं हो रही है। That's fine, right? रखूं?
It's okay.
Okay. तो पूजा ने धीरे धीरे मुझे बताया कि ये डर निकल जाएगा। मैंने जब सर्वजीत का सुना कि जस्ट टू ओवरकम दिस फियर ही केम इनटू दिस, ही डिड अ लॉट ऑफ रिसर्च। तो मैं भी धीरे धीरे, जैसे मेरे मतलब मुझे तो पता नहीं कि कहाँ पे इसका सब रिसर्च किया जाता है, मैं गूगल पे ढूंढकर कहाँ ढूंढकर मैं करने लगी। फिर मैंने पूजा को अप्रोच किया एंड नाउ आई हैव जॉइन्ड द कोर्स। रिसेंटली आई हैव जॉइन्ड द कोर्स। तो ये मेरा एक्सपीरियंस था। अब भी रिसेंटली और 2-3 दिन पहले एक बात हुई, जैसे अचानक से, अभी इतने दिन तक कुछ नहीं था, अचानक से मेरा डॉग रात को बहुत रेस्टलेस हुआ और ही स्टार्टेड बार्किंग लुकिंग एट अ कॉर्नर, और उसके सारे बाल वगैरह ऐसे मतलब खड़े हो गए, बहुत अजीब सा था वो चीज। तो तभी लेकिन मुझे डर नहीं लगा, मैंने रातों रात पूजा को फोन नहीं किया, तो दूसरे दिन आराम से फोन करके पूछा कि ऐसा ऐसा हुआ, क्या हुआ होगा शायद ये। तो शी सेड कि देयर आर एंटिटीज जो दे कम फॉर सम टाइम एंड देन गो बैक, ऐसे होता रहता है। लेकिन जो डर था वो टोटली निकल गया ये दोनों की वजह से, एंड आई एम रियली ग्रेटफुल टू देम कि ये अभी मेरी जिंदगी भर के लिए डर निकल गया, एंड आई एम लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू जॉइन पेयर्स सून।
More than welcome, actually.
More than welcome.
More than welcome.
that's such a beautiful testimony actually. Wonderful, wonderful. यही डर निकालने की कोशिश करते हैं हम actually from everyone.
Correct. That's what we do actually at Pairs. If you are watching and if you are more interested to know about our team, our organization, what we do, the website is paranormalindia.org. That's our official website. You can check through the website, go to the website, check out our videos, what we do, the services we provide. And yes, like Nikita, if you also need help or if you want to join us, then we are open for people like you. This was the very first panel for the WENCH Film Festival. Thank you so much for everyone for tuning in. But special thank you to Sapna and the WENCH Film Festival for giving us this platform to talk about paranormal. Hardly hota hai, ज़्यादा जगह पे हमको एक्चुअली इनविटेशन नहीं आता बिकॉज वी टॉक फैक्ट्स, वी डोंट टॉक कि अरे नहीं वैसा होता है, वी से व्हाट इज रियल, वी से व्हाट इज नॉट रियल, एंड इफ समथिंग इज नॉट रियल वी जस्ट ओपनली एंड वेरी ओपनली पब्लिकली वी डिबंक इट आप लोगों के सामने. So that's what we do. Thank you so very much again for tuning in. There is the website is on your screen right now. If you want to know more about us, like I said, you can just check us out. So this is SARBAJEET, she's
Pooja,
and we have Savio, Furtado and Nikita with us for the very first opening panel of the WENCH Film Festival. They have an amazing lineup right now. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening with this and have a great evening. See you soon. Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Bye. Have a great Sunday. Yes, everybody.
Bye-bye.